Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be going over the top 5 money-making methods that also give you a very good amount of experience. So this will be kind of focused on skilling money-making methods, but really anything goes. I know these are my personal picks. They are not necessarily the absolute best ones in the game. Plus they're kind of based off of things that I can actually do, as opposed to just giving you a bunch of wiki pages to look at or something like that. So yeah, keep that in mind. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. Now, coming in at number 5 is just actually fletching yew longbows out of yew longbows unstrungs and bowstrings. Really easy method to do, but it actually gives upwards of 190k XP an hour if you're really paying attention. Plus, it gives you about 250k GP per hour. So it's an excellent choice for leveling up your fletching. Really good money, at least for how accessible it is. It does require 70 fletching, but honestly, that's not that high comparative to other skills. It doesn't actually take very long to level up your fletching. So yeah, 250k GP per hour isn't groundbreaking by any means, but considering you're getting close to 200k XP per hour, I'd say it's worth it. Plus, it is reasonably AFK, obviously not that much, only about 10 seconds at a time, but it's really not that click intensive. Plus, you get those XP rates. So anyway, that's number 5. Coming in at number 4 is actually a very underrated method that not a lot of people use, and that is the Spin FLASK spell. It is on the Lunar Spellbook, and you will need 76 magic to actually cast it, but it gives you around 65k magic and crafting experience per hour, which are two generally expensive skills to train normally. And on top of that, currently you're actually profiting about 200k an hour. Now it's not always like this, but very frequently I've noticed it does tend to actually give you a profit, which is really good for how low a magic level you relatively need for it anyway. So here we just did a couple casts to price check the amount here. So we got 15,400 for selling the bowstrings, minus 8080, minus 2720 for this little transaction down here. So 4,600, and we did 20 casts, so we're getting about 230 GP per cast, and you can do about 900 an hour. You could do more, but that's a little more in the ballpark. And so it comes out to about 207k, plus you're getting 130 to 140k experience in your other skills, which I think is really good, and why I put it at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Humidifying Clay. Now this one is not my favorite method, mainly just because of how click intensive it is, but it does provide about 500k GP per hour. Now it only gives about 50k XP per hour, and that is if you're really paying attention, using bank fillers and making sure you're paying attention to your clicks. But you can still expect 400 to 500k an hour doing this, and I think this is probably the most useful application of the Humidify spell. Otherwise, I don't think this spell is too useful. Maybe except for humidifying plant pots. But anyway, yeah, all you gotta do is have 68 magic for the humidify spell, and you'll need to be in a lunar spellbook, as well as recommended is a steam battle staff or a steam staff, so you don't really waste any more time with runes. And this is kind of more important for this because you will want to optimize the amount of inventory space you have, because it actually just does the full inventory no matter how many clay you actually have there. See, entire inventory, if you had 1 clay, it would still cast, but only convert 1, which is not ideal. Sometimes this method will reach upwards of 700k an hour, and that's kind of why I put it above the other one, even though the bowstring method is a little more preferred for me. This one does actually grant more money per hour usually. Now coming in at number 2 is Fletching Diamond Bolt Tips. Now this can also be done with Ruby Bolt Tips as well, but the profit and the experience is a little bit less. So we'll be doing it with the Diamond Bolt Tips. What you'll need is 65 fletching to do this, and you can actually combine almost 25,000 of these an hour. So it's a very quick combination. But anyway, all you have to do is buy Adamant Bolts and Diamond Bolt Tips off the Grand Exchange, and go ahead and combine them, and you just make 10 sets, and that's pretty much it. For the experience rates, you're looking at close to 190k an hour, and for the GP per hour, it does vary quite a bit just based on the margin. So we'll go see what we get today, but probably on average you get about 500k plus an hour doing this method. But with all that experience as well, I'd say this is probably a very earned number 2 spot. But we'll go ahead and just check what we got today. Okay, so we're selling these off for 426k. And we bought the pieces 496 minus 213. So we made 17k, and that was only 1,000 bolts. So if we multiply that by 25, because that's how many we can do roughly in an hour, it looks like we're making about 425k right now. So that's pretty average. And the one thing you do have to keep in mind for this is you do have to be aware of the buy-in limit. For these is I think 10,000, and to do a full hour's worth you'll have to do a little bit of pre-planning, but it is definitely worth it. And that is number 2. And coming in at number 1 is going to be Enchanting level 5 jewelry, and what that means is basically Dragonstone. Today I decided to buy some Dragonstone bracelets to turn into combat bracelets, but more consistently you can do Dragonstone amulets, turning those into glories, and basically you can get about 130k magic experience an hour. The profit varies wildly, and you do need to spend a bit of time ahead of time just buying the items, but they buy quicker than you would imagine. And basically all you need is a mud battle staff or a mud staff and some cosmic runes, and you're just going to go ahead and enchant like anything else. It's a little click intensive, but I'd say it's worth it because the experience rates are extremely high, and if you can profit getting any amount of magic experience is always very nice. So yeah, you just have to go through every one of these, and again, can't iterate enough that you do want to check the price of everything before you try this. I had to go through all of the Dragonstone jewelry before I found one that was reasonably good, but I would stick to amulets. Bracelets do occasionally work, and the rings do work as well, and the rings in glory definitely are traded the most. Okay, we just finished up the last inventory of the combat bracelets, so we'll go ahead and withdraw the 60 unenchanted combat bracelets. Okay, so here's the history here. We bought them for 18.1k and some cosmic runes. So we tried to price check it earlier, and while it does have a lot traded, it actually didn't have a sell offer to come through. Okay, we'll try checking the combat bracelet again, and once again actually no one is buying it, even though it does trade pretty frequently. Alright, so we just checked on GE Tracker here, and we're just going to pick a reasonable price to sell them at, and we'll do it for maybe 19.5k and call it a day. Even though we might be able to get higher, I'd say this is a little more fair for a test. 19,500, and we'll sell that off. Okay, we'll be back when they have sold. Okay, we sold off all the combat bracelets. Now we did get kind of lucky and sold them for about 19.5k, which I think is still a little bit above what you might get normally, but still we'll have a look at what we profited now, and then we can maybe just tone it down a little bit for what the average would be. So let's go have a look. We sold them all for 1170, and we bought the prerequisite ingredients for 1086 and 4k, leaving us with an 80k profit. So now that was 60 of them. So per bracelet we were getting 1.3k, which is amazing since you can do about 1500 of these in an hour. So as it stands, if I'd done all this, that would have been about 2 mil, which I wouldn't say is extremely likely. So let's say we sold them for about 19k, because that seems a little more reasonable. So 19k, if we'd done that, that would have been 1900 times 60, be 1140 instead. And then we're going to take off 1086, 060, I guess technically, and 3840, leaving us with 50.1k in profit. Divide that by 60, and multiply that by 1500, and we're still getting over a mil an hour. It looks like 1250k, which is really good considering you get about 130k magic experience on top of that. Anyway guys, that is my top 5 money making methods that also give you really good experience, and hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to toss the video a like, and I will see you guys in the next video.